I am sure you are missing a mentor, that rich friend or millionaire father who could sit down next to you and say, "Here, these are the real secrets to success." Rich people think differently. They have their own principles, their own rules that lead them to money again and again, even if they lose everything. In this audiobook, you will hear the 10 most important secrets that no one shares. Because most people are afraid of creating competition for themselves. Not because they're trying to hide them, but because most people never slow down long enough to understand them. This is not a guide about get-rich-quick tricks. It's not about luck, privilege, or inheritance. It's about the inner architecture, the mindset that creates wealth long before the money ever shows up. So take a breath, because over the next 10 chapters, you're going to enter a new mental landscape, a place where money becomes a mirror of your discipline, vision, and focus. This is your chance to understand what they know, to see what they see, and to begin living like someone who doesn't chase wealth, but attracts it. If that's what you want, stay until the very end. And promise yourself this: whatever truth hits you hardest today, you'll act on it. Not tomorrow, not next week, today. Because the first secret of the rich is simple. They act before they're ready. Secret 1. The rich think in decades, not days. While most people chase the thrill of instant rewards, the wealthy move in slow, deliberate patterns. They think in decades. They play the long game. You see, the poor and middle class live on survival time. Next Friday, next month, next paycheck. But the rich, they live on strategic time. They're not asking, what can I get now? They're asking, what foundation can I build that will feed me for the next 20 years? They understand something the average person doesn't. Time is their greatest investment. Most people trade time for money. The rich trade money for time. They use it to build systems that grow without their constant effort. Businesses, investments, assets that multiply quietly while they sleep. If you want to think like the wealthy, stop looking for immediate validation. Start building for longevity. Think of your life in 10-year blocks. Ask yourself, what could I create today that will still matter a decade from now? That question alone will shift your destiny, because wealth doesn't grow in the soil of impatience. Remember, the poor chase money, the rich plant time. Secret 2, they value information more than income. Money flows to those who understand it, and information, not cash, is the true currency of wealth. When most people get paid, they spend. When the rich get paid, they learn. They buy books before cars. They attend seminars before vacations. They hire mentors instead of looking for shortcuts. They understand something powerful. Knowledge compounds faster than money. A single idea, one you didn't have before, can shift your entire financial trajectory. But most people never invest in ideas. They invest in comfort. That's why the rich spend money differently. They buy leverage, they buy perspective, they buy time and information that multiply their capacity to create more. You don't need millions to start thinking this way. Start with curiosity. Start with discipline. Start with the mindset that every dollar you spend is either working for your growth or against it. Because information is everywhere, but transformation belongs only to those who apply it. Remember, the rich don't buy things. They buy knowledge that buys things. Secret 3, they see money as a tool, not a trophy. For most people, money equals emotion, fear, desire, status. But for the wealthy, money is neutral, a tool, not a symbol. They don't chase it to feel powerful. They use it to build power. It's not about impressing others. It's about creating freedom. Freedom to choose where they live, how they spend their time and who they become. That's why rich people often live below their means, not because they're cheap, but because they understand leverage. Every dollar saved is a soldier they can deploy later to work for them. While others spend to appear successful, the rich invest to become unbreakable. So ask yourself, do you treat money like oxygen, something to waste because it's always there? Or like energy, something to direct, preserve, and multiply? Because until you stop chasing money to prove your worth, you'll never have enough of it. Remember, money is a servant, not a master. The rich never forget who's in charge. Secret 4, they understand the power of compounding. You've heard the phrase, compound interest is the 8th wonder of the world. But the rich don't just apply it to finance. They apply it to everything. They understand that consistency, not intensity, builds empires. Every day of reading compounds into wisdom. Every act of discipline compounds into strength. Every small investment compounds into wealth. The problem is, most people quit before the compound effect kicks in. They get bored. They get impatient. They don't see immediate results, so they give up, right before momentum was about to take over. The rich play the long game. They trust time. They plant seeds every single day, knowing that in 5 years, those seeds will become forests. Compounding rewards patience, and patience is the rarest currency in the modern world. So if you feel like your results are small right now, good. That means you're early in the process. Stay consistent, stay invested, stay in motion, because time rewards those who don't give up before the miracle happens. Remember, the rich don't chase overnight success. They master the power of tomorrow. Secret 5. The rich play the game of control, not chance. There's a reason the rich don't rely on luck. They rely on leverage. They don't gamble on the market. They design it to work in their favor. They understand that the one thing more valuable than money is control. The average person works for money. The rich make money work for them. That's not a quote. It's a mindset. When you trade your time for income, you're at the mercy of someone else's system, your employer's vision, your client's deadlines, your government's rules. You're playing in someone else's game. But the wealthy, they write their own rules. They build systems. They create value through ownership, not labor. They invest in businesses, assets, and ideas that continue to produce while they sleep. The secret is this: they focus not on what they can earn, but what they can control. Control your income stream, control your energy, control your mind, and wealth will follow, because control is the root of freedom, and freedom is the highest form of wealth. Remember? You can't be free if you don't have control. The rich own their time before they own their toys. Secret 6. The rich think in systems, not tasks. If you study the ultra-wealthy long enough, you'll notice they rarely talk about what they do. They talk about how things work. That's the difference between workers and creators. Workers ask, what do I need to do next? Creators ask, what system can I build that does it for me? A system multiplies your effort. It allows you to separate time from income, to produce results even when you're not present. Think about it. Most people are trapped in the cycle of constant doing. They confuse busyness with progress. But busyness is a prison dressed as productivity. The rich escape that prison by automating what can be automated, delegating what can be delegated, and focusing only on what truly moves the needle. They understand the power of leverage, not just financial, but human, digital, and strategic leverage. So instead of asking, how can I do more? Start asking, how can I make what I've done work harder for me? That question is the gateway from hustle to wealth. Remember, hustle builds income. Systems build freedom. Secret 7. The rich see opportunity where others see obstacles. Most people run when they see risk. The rich lean in, because behind every obstacle is an opening. Behind every crisis is a chance to create something new. When markets crash, the poor panic. The rich prepare. They know that emotion kills opportunity, and that fear is a signal, not a stop sign. The wealthy understand the patterns of human behavior. They know that when most people sell, it's time to buy. When most people give up, it's time to begin. They've trained their minds to respond differently to chaos. While others ask, what if I lose? They ask, what might I gain? That's not optimism, it's intelligence. Because opportunity hides in discomfort. So if life feels hard right now, don't look away. Lean closer. Ask what lesson or leverage it's offering you. Because in every breakdown, there's a blueprint for a breakthrough. Remember, the rich don't run from storms. They learn how to sail in them. Chapter Transition: The Inner Game of Wealth. The deeper you go into the psychology of wealth, the clearer you'll see that money isn't the main subject here, it's you. Every financial limit is first a mental one. Every ceiling in your income is a ceiling in your self-belief. That's why, before the rich invest in companies or stocks, they invest in their mindset. Because if your thinking isn't expanding, your income won't either. The poor think that they need more money to change their life. The rich know they need to change their life to make more money. And the transformation begins inside with habits, emotions, and clarity. You're not here to chase more cash. You're here to evolve into someone who can handle more value. Because wealth isn't what you have. It's what you're capable of holding. Secret 8. The rich measure value, not hours. If you want to break free from mediocrity, you must stop measuring your worth in time. Time-based thinking keeps you broke. You say things like, I make $30 an hour. And what you're really saying is, my growth stops when the clock does. The rich don't think in hours. They think in outcomes. They focus on results that can scale infinitely. They design products, services, and ideas that make money whether they're physically working or not. The irony? They work harder than most people in the beginning, but not forever. Because the rich understand something powerful. You work once, you get paid forever. Write the book once. Build the system once. Record the song once. Create the course once. Invest once. And let those creations continue to generate income endlessly. When you understand that concept, you stop chasing jobs and start creating assets. Remember, poor people sell time. The rich sell results. Secret 9. The rich understand emotional finance. Money is emotional energy. And the rich master their emotions before they master the market. They know greed makes you reckless, fear makes you frozen, and discipline makes you rich. They don't make decisions in panic. They don't let excitement cloud judgment. They observe their emotions and then act on logic. That's why they don't crumble under loss or brag under gain. They remain centered. The market, the economy, life itself, they all move in cycles. And those who can remain calm when others are chaotic become the ones who control the game. So if you want to grow your wealth, start by mastering your state. When the world is loud, get still. When the crowd is panicking, stay patient. When everyone's chasing noise, chase clarity. Because emotion is expensive and calm is profitable. Remember, The rich don't avoid emotions, they outgrow them. The next chapter is the final secret, the one that ties all others together. It's not about money, but about the identity of wealth itself. The mindset that transforms ordinary people into creators of empires. Secret 10. The rich think legacy, not luxury. Here's the ultimate secret, the one that separates the truly wealthy from everyone pretending to be. The rich don't build to impress. They build to outlast. Luxury fades, legacy multiplies, a fancy car depreciates, a good decision compounds, a watch shows time. But a legacy defines what your time was worth. The ultra-wealthy measure success by impact, not indulgence. They ask, who benefits when I win? Because if your success serves no one but you, it dies with you. Look at the greatest creators of our age, people who built companies, platforms, ideas that outlived them. Their names became principles. Their time became eternal. The rich understand that money is temporary, but influence is infinite. That's why they build for legacy. That's why they stay patient when others chase applause. Because legacy is never built in a hurry. It's built through intention, through every decision you make when no one's watching, through the way you treat people, through the systems you leave behind that make others' lives better. You may not have $1 billion, but you have hours. You have energy. You have a purpose that, when directed with discipline, can outlive your lifetime. And that's what wealth truly means. Remember, luxury ends with you. Legacy begins without you. Chapter 11. The truth about money, energy, and exchange. Let's go deeper. Money isn't paper. It isn't numbers on a screen. It's energy. It flows to wherever it's respected, multiplied, and valued. When you hold money with fear, it hides. When you treat it with wisdom, it works. The rich see money as an exchange of value, not a symbol of identity. They don't say, I want to get rich. They say, I want to create more value. Because value attracts money like gravity attracts matter. The moment you start solving problems at scale, the universe responds with abundance. And that's the paradox most people never understand. The less you chase money, the faster it comes. When you focus on contribution instead of accumulation, you shift from scarcity to expansion. That's the energy the wealthy operate from, abundance. They know money is a river, not a reservoir. It has to flow. It has to move. It has to circulate to stay alive. So stop hoarding fear. Start circulating faith. Use money as a tool to serve your mission, not as a mirror for your ego. Remember, money flows to clarity, not chaos. Chapter 12. The rich have multiple identities. You've probably heard the phrase, multiple streams of income. But before you build those, you need multiple versions of yourself. The rich aren't just investors. They're thinkers, teachers, creators, students, leaders. They move fluidly between roles because they know one version of themselves can't hold infinite potential. Most people stay trapped in one identity, their job title, their degree, their label. But the wealthy reinvent constantly. If one business fails, they shift to another. If one skill fades, they learn a new one. If one market changes, they adapt. They understand that flexibility is the foundation of survival. When you can evolve faster than your environment, you become unstoppable. So ask yourself, who else can you become? What version of you are you ignoring because comfort feels easier than growth? The rich don't wait for permission to change. They outgrow their old selves in silence. And by the time the world notices, they've already moved 3 levels ahead. Remember, The rich reinvent quietly. The results make the noise. Chapter 13. The habits that money follows. Money doesn't respond to hope. It responds to habits. The difference between wanting success and building it is measured in the small, invisible rituals that compound daily. The rich wake early, not because it's trendy, but because silence gives them strategy. They journal, they plan, they review, they move with intention, while most people move with emotion. They know the day is won before it starts. And that's not luck, it's design. They track their numbers, they study markets, they review their failures without shame. You see, the rich don't fear data, they crave it, because clarity is freedom. Their habits are their hidden wealth, discipline disguised as routine, and the more boring their discipline becomes, the more extraordinary their life gets. You don't need millions to start that habit. Start with minutes. Start with one routine that replaces chaos with clarity. Because consistency is the currency that never devalues. Remember, the rich don't chase motivation. They rely on systems. Chapter 14. The silence of the wealthy. Here's one secret most people never notice. The richer people become, the quieter they get. Not because they're arrogant, because they've learned the power of privacy. The average person announces every move. The wealthy build in silence and reveal through results. They understand that attention is expensive, and energy wasted on validation is energy stolen from creation. Silence gives them strength. It gives them space to think clearly. It gives them peace in a world addicted to noise. While everyone else argues online, the wealthy make decisions offline. While others seek applause, they seek alignment. They know that true power doesn't need to prove itself. It simply is. So, if you want to live like the wealthy, stop explaining your vision. Start executing it. Let your results speak the language of success. Remember, the rich speak less, listen more, and move silently toward impact. Chapter 15. How the rich handle. Failure doesn't intimidate the rich. It educates them. They don't see it as an end. They see it as a lesson, an invoice from life that demands wisdom as payment. Every great fortune hides 100 failures behind it. But here's the difference. The poor hide their losses. The rich analyze them. They ask, what did this teach me about myself? What pattern do I need to break? They turn every mistake into momentum because they understand that the universe doesn't punish mistakes. It punishes stagnation. So if you failed recently, good. It means you're in motion. Learn, adjust, rebuild. You don't need perfection. You need persistence. Because success isn't built by avoiding failure. It's built by outlasting it. Remember, failure is tuition. The rich just keep paying until they graduate. You've now uncovered the mindset behind wealth. But in the next section, we'll explore something deeper. How the rich protect their focus, build emotional fortitude, and sustain momentum long after others burn out. Chapter 16. Guarding your attention like gold. The richest people in the world don't guard their money first. They guard their attention. Why? Because attention is the beginning of every fortune. It's the root of all creation. It's the seed from which every great idea grows. Most people give theirs away freely, to notifications, to noise, to nonsense. They waste mental energy scrolling through other people's lives instead of designing their own. But the wealthy understand this truth. What you focus on expands. If you fill your mind with distractions, you'll multiply chaos. If you fill it with clarity, you'll multiply progress. That's why they structure their lives around focus. They design environments where productivity happens naturally. They eliminate friction. No clutter, no chaos, no constant interruptions. They know that every distraction costs them more than time. It costs them momentum. Guard your focus like a vault. Every interruption you allow is a crack in your fortune, because the mind is your most valuable real estate, and what you allow to occupy it determines how rich you become. Remember, the poor chase attention, the rich protect it. Chapter 17. The rich understand energy economics. Here's a truth they don't teach in schools. You don't run out of time. You run out of energy. We all have the same 24 hours, but the wealthy manage those hours differently because they understand energy is the real currency. They invest energy where it multiplies, into people, ideas, and habits that give more than they take. Most people do the opposite. They give energy to gossip, anxiety, negativity, and distractions that never give them anything back. The rich know that energy management is wealth management. That's why they're selective with meetings. That's why they say no often. That's why they don't argue with mediocrity, because it's too expensive. When you realize every emotional reaction drains energy, you stop reacting to everything. You start choosing what deserves your power. Energy is invisible money, and the more carefully you spend it, the richer you become. Remember, you don't need more hours. You need more intentional energy. Chapter 18. The Art of Strategic Patience. Patience is one of the rarest traits among the poor and one of the most powerful weapons among the rich, because the rich know timing makes or breaks fortunes. The impatient want everything now. They chase hype, trends, and shortcuts, never realizing that the faster you move without direction, the faster you lose control. But the wealthy? They play chess, not checkers. They let the impatient make noise while they quietly accumulate advantage. They act when the timing is ripe, not when emotions demand action. Strategic patience is different from passivity. It's not waiting blindly, it's waiting intelligently. It's preparation disguised as stillness. It's the pause between moves that builds pressure before the breakthrough. The rich don't rush their growth. They trust their strategy. And that's why when they strike, it looks effortless. But it's not luck. It's leverage born from patience. Remember, the rich wait with intention. The poor wait with fear. Chapter 19. Surroundings shape success. Show me your environment, and I'll show you your future. The rich curate their surroundings with surgical precision. They understand that energy is contagious, and environment amplifies everything. That's why they invest in spaces that reflect focus. Their homes breathe simplicity. Their offices promote clarity. Their social circles challenge mediocrity. They don't stay where they're merely tolerated. They go where they're stretched, sharpened, and inspired. If everyone around you thinks small, it's not loyalty to stay. It's self-sabotage. The rich outgrow their environments without guilt. They know that comfort is the enemy of growth. They'd rather feel lonely for a season than trapped for a lifetime. So ask yourself, what room are you in? Does it pull you forward or pull you down? Because proximity is power, and who you spend time with determines how you spend your life. Remember, you can't build $1 million mindset in a $1 environment. Chapter 20. The rich build inner stillness. Behind every billionaire's intensity is something surprising. Stillness. They move fast externally, but stay calm internally. They've learned that emotional chaos kills execution. When others react, they reflect. When others panic, they pause. This isn't detachment, it's mastery. They've learned to separate emotion from decision because the moment you let emotion lead, logic dies. Stillness is a form of wealth. It's the space between thought and action where clarity lives. That's why meditation, journaling, solitude, these aren't trends among the rich. They're tools. Stillness allows them to hear the whisper of opportunity in the noise of a chaotic world. Without it, you make reactive choices. With it, you make timeless ones. So before every major decision, pause, breathe, ask yourself, am I responding from fear or from focus? Because that question could save you years of lost time. Remember, the rich don't rush decisions. They slow down to speed up. Chapter 21, Silence, Strategy, and the Long Game. You've probably noticed something by now. Every secret so far has little to do with money itself and everything to do with mentality. That's because money doesn't create the mindset. The mindset creates the money. The rich aren't superhuman. They simply practice long-term thinking in a short-term world. They build silently while others brag loudly. They study while others scroll. They move strategically while others move emotionally. And when the world finally notices their success, it looks overnight. But it wasn't. It was built in silence. The long game will always outlast the loud game because consistency is louder than confidence and results are louder than words. Remember, the rich don't announce their goals. They let their lifestyle confirm them. You've now seen the mental framework of the wealthy, their patience, their focus, their stillness, their silence. But there's one more layer, the philosophy that turns all these secrets into sustainable wealth. In the next part, we'll explore how the rich philosophically approach life, their relationship with purpose, failure, and giving back, the soul behind the strategy. Chapter 22, The Rich Serve Before They Sell. Here's something counterintuitive. The richest people in the world don't start by asking, how can I make money? They start by asking, how can I make a difference? Because value creates income, not the other way around. The poor chase profit. The rich chase purpose. They understand that service is the foundation of sustainable success. When you serve first, you earn trust. And when you earn trust, money follows naturally. Look at every powerful brand, every influential entrepreneur. They built something that solved real pain, something that improved lives. That's why service is the ultimate business strategy. It's why you must fall in love with your mission, not just your margins. If you focus on contribution, you'll never worry about competition. So serve with excellence. Over-deliver. Do more than what's expected, not for attention, but because it's who you are. Because the world doesn't pay you for what you take. It pays you for what you give. Remember, the rich don't sell, they serve. That's why people buy. Chapter 23, The Law of Exchange. Every rich person understands this universal law. You cannot receive without first giving something of value. That's the law of exchange, the invisible handshake between energy and abundance. Every dollar in your account represents value you've contributed somewhere. Every opportunity you've been offered is proof of the energy you've put out. The rich don't fight this law. They flow with it. They give boldly because they know giving multiplies. They invest time into learning, money into opportunities, attention into relationships, because they know What you give with intention always returns with interest. Scarcity breaks this law. Scarcity hoards fears and doubts. Abundance flows, trusts, and creates. If you want to shift from scarcity to wealth, start practicing generosity strategically. Give where growth happens. Invest in people who multiply your energy, and watch how quickly the universe mirrors your momentum. Remember, money follows motion, and motion begins with giving. Chapter 24, The Rich Respect Time More Than Money Time is the only currency you can never earn back. That's why the wealthy treat it as sacred. They delegate what doesn't move them forward. They automate what doesn't require their touch. They eliminate what doesn't deserve their focus. They understand that saying yes to everything is the same as saying no to what matters most. The poor try to save money by wasting time. The rich save time, and as a result, make more money. It's not arrogance, it's awareness. Because once you realize your time is your true fortune, you start living differently. You stop tolerating energy vampires. You stop living on autopilot. You stop delaying your goals for comfort. The rich live with urgency, not haste, but clarity. They know every wasted day compounds into regret. So guard your hours as you would guard your wealth. Because when your time is gone, the game is over. Remember, you can lose money and make it back, but lose time, and it's gone forever. Chapter 25. The rich play the long game of purpose. Most people work for comfort. The rich work for legacy. They aren't chasing short-term pleasure. They're building something that will outlive them. They know that purpose fuels perseverance, that when you have a why, no obstacle can break you. You can take their business, their home, their fame, but if you can't take their why, you can't stop them. That's why they stay calm when others quit. They're not running a race. They're building an empire, one choice, one day, one brick at a time. Purpose is what keeps them grounded when success becomes noisy. It reminds them that wealth without meaning is emptiness disguised as achievement. So find your purpose, not your passion, not your paycheck, but your reason. Because that's what will keep you going when the world stops believing in you. Remember, the rich don't chase happiness, they chase purpose. Happiness follows. Chapter 26. The rich understand the value of losing. You'll never hear the wealthy call failure bad. They call it feedback. They don't see loss as punishment. They see it as preparation. When something doesn't work, they don't fall apart. They fall forward. They study the wreckage, find the lesson, and rebuild stronger. That's why they keep winning, because they refuse to let losses define their worth. The truth? Failure is inevitable, but suffering from it is optional. The rich expect mistakes. They anticipate missteps, but they plan to recover faster than anyone else. That's the game. You can't control the winds, but you can master your sails. So stop asking, why did this happen to me? Start asking, what is this trying to teach me? Every setback has a seed of growth hidden inside it, and only those brave enough to look for it turn pain into profit. Remember, the rich don't fear losing. They fear not learning. Chapter 27. Rejection, Resilience, and Rebirth. Every self-made success story begins with rejection. Doors slammed, calls ignored, ideas ridiculed, but that's what forges resilience. Rejection isn't a wall. It's a filter. It separates the faint-hearted from the focused. The rich understand this deeply. They use rejection as redirection. If one path closes, they carve another. They never let no be the final word. Because discipline doesn't mean you never doubt yourself. It means you move forward despite the doubt. So don't resent rejection. Respect it. It's proof that you're reaching beyond comfort. It's the universe's way of asking, how badly do you really want this? And if your answer is enough to keep going, then congratulations. You're already thinking like the rich. Remember, every no is a test of faith disguised as feedback. You now understand the inner laws of wealth, the long game, the patience, the purpose, the giving, the grace to fail forward. But in the next section, we'll dive into something deeper, the spiritual side of success, how to build inner alignment so your external achievements never destroy your inner peace. Chapter 28, The Inner Game of Wealth. Everyone wants to be rich on the outside, but the real wealth starts inside. Because here's the truth. If you can't control your emotions, you'll never control your results. The rich understand this at the deepest level. They know that every financial decision begins with an emotional state. Fear makes you sell too early. Ego makes you buy too late. Greed blinds you to risk. And anxiety destroys creativity. That's why the wealthy spend time mastering their inner world. They meditate, they journal, they think before they react. They understand that a calm mind sees opportunities a chaotic one misses. Because wealth without emotional stability is a disaster waiting to happen. So if you want to grow your bank account, start by growing your self-awareness. Start by training your emotional muscles. Learn how to pause before reacting. Learn how to stay centered when everything feels like it's falling apart. Because real wealth isn't built in the market. It's built in your mindset. Remember, a calm mind builds faster than a chaotic one. Chapter 29. Detach from the outcome. The poor crave control. The rich master surrender. You heard that right. They don't obsess over every result. They focus on execution and let the outcome unfold. Because attachment creates tension, and tension kills clarity. When you obsess over whether something will work, you create resistance that stops it from working. The rich don't need everything to go their way. They just need momentum. They trust the process more than the plan. It's not apathy, it's awareness. They understand that outcomes are shaped by consistency, not by emotional attachment. So they give their best effort, release the expectation, and adjust with grace. Because detachment doesn't mean you stop caring. It means you stop clinging. You stop letting fear dictate your direction. Remember, the rich don't chase results. They attract them through clarity. Chapter 30. The rich live in gratitude, not greed. The truly wealthy aren't addicted to more. They're addicted to appreciation. They know that gratitude multiplies wealth faster than greed ever could. Every morning, they take inventory, not of what they lack, but of what they already have: health, peace, opportunity, the ability to create again today. Because gratitude keeps them grounded when success tries to blind them. It protects them from arrogance. It keeps their ambition pure. The poor see gratitude as a sign of settling. The rich see it as the foundation of expansion. Because only a grateful heart can handle growing abundance. When you're grateful, you stop comparing. You stop competing. You start creating from contentment instead of desperation. Gratitude turns money into meaning. It turns work into worship. It turns goals into gratitude loops that fuel infinite growth. Remember, the rich don't thank after they win. They win because they thank. Chapter 31. The wealthy create peace, not pressure. Contrary to the myth, the rich don't live in constant hustle mode. Yes, They work hard, but they work strategically. They've learned that pressure destroys performance. Peace sustains it. They design lives that allow rest. They schedule reflection the way others schedule meetings, because they know stillness is strength, not weakness. When you operate from peace, you make better moves. You think clearly. You handle challenges without panic. They don't grind until burnout. They pace themselves for the marathon, because wealth without wellness is poverty in disguise. And that's the paradox of the rich. They chase balance more than billions. So ask yourself, are you building a life you can sustain, or just a success you'll escape from? Remember, peace is the ultimate profit. Chapter 32, The Power of Perspective. Perspective is the hidden engine behind every decision the rich make. They view challenges differently. They see failure as feedback, not finality. They see obstacles as detours, not dead ends. They see money as a servant, not a master. Perspective is everything, because how you see determines how you move. When something bad happens, they ask, "What is this teaching me?" When success comes, they ask, "How can I multiply this?" Their minds filter reality through opportunity, not limitation. You can do the same. Every problem you face is a test of perspective. And the better your lens, the better your life. Because what you see isn't just what's out there, it's what's inside you being reflected outward. Remember, perspective doesn't change reality. It changes your power inside it. Chapter 33, The Rich Keep Evolving. There's one final truth about the wealthy that most people miss. They never stop becoming. They are obsessed with evolution. While others seek comfort, they seek progress. While others look for certainty, they look for challenge. Because stagnation is death to success. They constantly read, learn, and reinvent. They understand that the best investment isn't the stock market. It's their own mind. They treat learning like breathing, continuous, essential, and non-negotiable. Every new skill expands their opportunities. Every new mindset sharpens their decisions. They evolve because they know life rewards growth, not repetition. So don't chase the finish line. There is none. There's only refinement, the art of becoming better every single day. Remember, the rich never arrive. They upgrade. You've now entered the deepest layer of wealth, not just how to make it, but how to sustain it with peace, gratitude, and perspective. But there's one final part to this journey, the integration of all 10 secrets. The roadmap for you to build wealth from your current level, step by step, mindset by mindset, habit by habit. That's what we'll explore next. How to apply everything you've learned and turn understanding into transformation. Chapter 34, The Blueprint of Wealth. Now that you've seen how the rich think, how they act, and how they build, let's tie everything together into a framework, a living blueprint for success. Because knowing without applying is like owning a map but never walking the path. Wealth isn't magic. It's momentum. And momentum starts with one deliberate decision to think differently. Here's how it begins. First, awareness. You can't change what you don't notice. So start observing your patterns, how you think about money, time, failure, and success. Do your thoughts come from fear or from focus, from scarcity or from strength? Second, alignment. Once you become aware, align your actions with your beliefs. Don't say you want wealth, but live like you expect lack. Don't say you value growth, but fill your days with comfort. Make your habits reflect your ambitions. Third, consistency. The rich win because they do small things repeatedly. They invest daily. They study daily. They practice discipline daily. They understand that the compound effect of focus creates miracles that luck never could. And finally, accountability. This audiobook wasn't meant to impress you. It was meant to awaken you, to remind you that wealth is a reflection, not a reward. It reflects your growth, your vision, your courage. You can start small. You can start scared, but you must start because every fortune began with a single step, and that step wasn't external. It was internal. You are the foundation of your own fortune. And when you train your mind to think, act, and give like the rich, you'll realize the secret was never money. It was mastery. The richest thing you can ever own is the mind that refuses to give up. If this audiobook moved you, if one line lit a spark, make that spark your contract with yourself. Hit like if you're ready to think differently. Comment the secret that hit you hardest. And subscribe to join this movement where we don't just listen, we evolve. Because this is not the end. It's the beginning of your transformation. And remember, the greatest investment you will ever make is in you.